correspondent Ronan Farrow digs into issues facing today's college students.
And he's here now with a closer look at a growing problem on campuses nationwide. Ronan, good morning.
Good to see you guys. Lester, Savannah. In the high-pressure rat race of academic achievement, there is one fix students are turning to at an alarming rate to get ahead. Some call it academic doping, and experts say it has a very real, largely ignored dark side.
I took it and I was like, oh my God, why haven't I not been doing this?
It's becoming a regular habit. People are relying on it to write papers and do their reading and their homework.
They're talking about smart drugs.
Vicodins, Focalin, Adderall, Ritalin, they're all pretty much the same thing. They're just brain stimulants that just kind of make you feel like you're going a million miles. It's regulated speed, pretty much.
Prescribed for people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
You just kind of feel this little like ball of warmth kind of rising up in you, and then it's like you just get locked down.
And used by a growing number of students who do not have ADHD, but want that performance boost.
This is a prescription you're getting from your doctor or your friends are giving to you, and people see it as absolutely harmless.
Wyatt, Christina, Max, and Gabby are students from Boston University who agreed to talk about an issue they say is out of control on campus. How common is this?
The majority of the people that I know are taking it everywhere.
Personally, in my social circle, it's literally everyone.
Everyone.
Every single person. You can go up to the second floor of the library and see, a full wing of people just cracked out.
I mean, are people like doing lines of Adderall in the library?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen it multiple times.
Is it openly in the library?
Yes.
Yeah.
People will blow lines down of just Adderall in the library.
College students have been abusing stimulants for decades. But what's new, experts say, is just how many students. One study finding 30% of college students are using stimulants non-medically.
This is a problem that's getting worse and worse because we're ignoring it, because people feel like it's no big deal.
Marsha Lee Taylor is the president of Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Among teens, opiate use is going in the right direction. It's ticking down. But stimulant use, ADHD medications, is going in the wrong direction. It's going up.
Going up and being embraced by many students without reservation. The University of Miami student newspaper calling Adderall a magic pill. We've talked to students who say, what's the harm? This makes you smarter, it makes you perform better.
Well, there is real harm. These substances are in the same classification, according to the DEA, as cocaine and methamphetamine.
It is addictive and it can be abused.
Recent Harvard grad Charlotte Lieberman wrote about her Adderall addiction in Cosmopolitan.
There was one experience, I took actually 80 milligrams.
80 milligrams?
Yeah, I think 4 times the daily recommended dose. I started having heart palpitations and I was having a ton of trouble sleeping.
If you're hitting these stimulants hard, what can happen to your body?
You can have cardiac effects. It can increase anxiety and lead to a host of other mental health issues.
The FDA requires Adderall manufacturers to notify patients about the risk of serious cardiovascular adverse events and a slight risk of drug-related psychiatric adverse events, even in patients who did not have previous psychiatric problems. In some countries, like Canada, ADHD drugs come with a suicide warning.
You don't die from Adderall. You can have terrible side effects and terrible addiction problems that lead to breakdown.
Alan Schwartz wrote ADHD Nation after covering Adderall abuse for the New York Times.
There are lots of stories out there of kids who have gotten horribly addicted, suffered psychiatric breakdowns, and some attempted and completed suicides.
Kyle was a healthy, happy, bright, handsome, caring young guy.
He loved the beach, loved surfing, guitar. He just brightened up a room.
Chip and Andrea Craig's son Kyle had just finished his sophomore year at Vanderbilt University when his parents started noticing strange behavior.
He'd become intense, seemingly quickly irritable. Something had changed in his character.
I actually once said, are you on something?
Kyle did not have ADHD.
We now know he was able to get a prescription for it.
Back home in New Jersey after spending a semester abroad, Kyle spoke to a therapist.
And he said, Adderall ruined my life.
Not only did he use it for studying, he readily admitted to abusing it for party purposes as well.
2 weeks later, Kyle Craig stepped in front of a train, ending his life. He was 21.
As any parent can understand, it's it's a heavy loss.
While it's difficult to prove Adderall abuse caused Kyle's suicide, the Craigs believe there's a link.
A dear friend of Kyle's wrote about him. After his passing, and he said, if Adderall can change someone like Kyle, then it can probably change any young person.
Do parents get the smart drug phenomenon?
No.
You think the school knows?
Yeah. If they don't, they're like willfully ignorant.
This is something that is going on and that nobody is talking about.
Colleges have had their heads in the sand for so long, it's absolutely unconscionable because they don't mind their kids getting really good grades.
Who's pushing back against this?
Nobody.
All of us see it on a day-to-day basis, and it's disturbing to us. And if we're willing to say something, then how could it not be a problem?
Are you gonna use it again?
I don't know. I honestly can't say. I definitely see the negative effects of it really wreaking havoc on my friends. But at the same time, I mean, if I need to do it, I'm going to do it. That's the sad truth.
Now, some schools are clamping down on this. They're forbidding their health offices from prescribing ADH medications or only prescribing them if students agree to have their parents notified. But according to the experts in this story, you guys, those schools are pretty few and far between.
This is just part of this competitive, to succeed at any cost.
It's like doping in sports. The more people do it, the more everyone has to do it to get ahead. Hard to roll back.
What are the warnings of it for parents?
Those changes in personality, if someone is, having sort of a speedy physiological effect on their body, they're jittery, they're nervous. If that's happening all the time, you might want to ask what they might be on.
Parents should really trust their gut.
And no idea it was so addictive until this.
Yeah,
Opiate use down, teenage use for opiates were down, but stimulants are up.
Yeah. Exactly right, because no one's really pushing back, as you heard there.
By the way, this is a series for you. What do you got tomorrow?
We'll be on the next 2 days. Tomorrow we've got to look at extreme drinking. Now, you might roll your eyes and say, we've heard that story before, but there are new ways people are drinking on campus. You'll hear about them tomorrow.
Parents right now.